overweight, all the best things you can possibly be. And I just generally didn't have a clue. I mean, I was one of those kids that never didn't even see a mirror until I was about 13, and by that time it was too late. I was right bang in the middle of the spots and the hair and everything.
Amidst the ebullient journey through the annals of history, George Michael found himself in an unforeseen descent. The narrative of his life, akin to a cinematic masterpiece, unfolded before the scrutinizing eyes of the world. Beyond the veneer of tabloids lay veracity more astounding than the musings of gossip pundits. From sensational scandals to poignant setbacks, here reveals a range of untold truths that George Michael concealed from the public gaze. The resonance of George Michael's nomenclature echoes with a crisp and undeniably chic allure. Yet, this semblance of coolness belies the reality that George Michael is a nom de plume. In actuality, his true identity is not steeped in English origins. Georgios Kyriakos Panayotou, the scion of a Greek Cypriot lineage, emerged as the given name at his birth. His progenitor, a restaurateur, transplanted himself from Cyprus to London in pursuit of a new chapter. The aspirations of a burgeoning pop star had germinated in George Michael's psyche since his formative years. However, it wasn't until his sojourn through high school that the odyssey towards superlative fame commenced. Fortuitously, a symbiotic friendship with Andrew Ridgeley, the counterpart in Wham, burgeoned during his high school years, a friendship that would soon thrust both lads into the limelight. While George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley toiled assiduously to transmute their musical dreams into reality, Michael elevated his endeavors. Assuming the roles of a disc jockey and a busker on the London Underground during his adolescence, Michael serenaded commuters, honing himself for a future in the public eye. His rendition of Queen's Timeless 39 became a resonant fixture in these subterranean performances. Before the advent of Wham, there existed The Executive, a precursor where Michael and Ridgeley attempted to ride the ska music trend to chart summits. Alas, their venture encountered a pivotal impediment: their inability to authentically embody Rastafarian ethos. Multiple record labels summarily dismissed their demo. The mellifluous strains of Careless Whisper have indelibly etched themselves on the lips of George Michael enthusiasts. Yet, beneath the surface lies a revelation Michael himself harbored reservations about the composition. Penned at the tender age of 17, he later dismissed it as a work of juvenility and banality. According to Michael, at the time of its creation, he possessed scant knowledge about life or love, incredulous that the song still resonated with people. Despite his nascent understanding of relationships, Michael wielded an adept hand in crafting chart toppers. Unfazed by his surroundings, the 17-year-old Michael penned Careless Whisper during his daily commute, ensconced on a public bus. A reflection to ponder upon during those zombie-like 25 minutes spent gazing vacantly at one's phone. Wham's meteoric success, however, invited vehement backlash, with critics dismissing them as vacuous teen idols with a singular hit. Despite Michael and Ridgeley's assertions that they were satirizing hyper-glamorous teen icons, industry censure frustrated Michael's aspirations for serious recognition. To alter this trajectory, a drastic measure became imperative. By 1985, the global populace was cognizant of Wham and George Michael, except for the insular expanse of China. Mao Zedong's isolationist policies had shielded the nation from Western influences, but as the borders opened post-Mao, an opportunity arose for a pioneering musical act to grace China. Wham seized this chance, overcoming formidable competition to become the inaugural band to perform in the awakening Chinese landscape. In a resounding clash, Wham triumphed over Queen to claim the distinction of being the inaugural Western musical ensemble to grace the stages of China, causing George Michael to revel in the triumph over Freddie Mercury himself. Yet, beneath the surface, this narrative harbored a complexity that extended beyond mere musical rivalry. The orchestrator behind Wham's historic venture had meticulously courted Chinese dignitaries for a staggering 18 months, adroitly juxtaposing family-friendly portrayals of Michael against provocative depictions of Mercury to sway their favor towards Michael's musical domain. Despite the anticipation surrounding the performance, Michael confessed that it stood as one of the most arduous spectacles of his artistic journey. Prepare to be serenaded by George Michael's melodic timbre every Christmas, henceforth an inescapable reality, whether embraced or not, while a considerable majority extol the virtues of his timeless Yuletide anthem Last Christmas. a faction of dissenters vehemently despises the tune for those. Disenchanted souls take solace in the knowledge that Wham altruistically allocated all proceeds from the song to charities dedicated to alleviating the plight of those affected by the Ethiopian famine. Although Last Christmas stands as one of the highest-grossing musical compositions in history, it failed to ascend to the summit of the UK charts. Astonishingly, the responsibility for this shortcoming rests squarely on George Michael's shoulders. The chart-topping impediment came in the form of "Do They Know It's Christmas?", a composition crafted explicitly to aid the Ethiopian famine, featuring background vocals from none other than George Michael. Michael's involvement with Last Christmas transcended mere authorship. He was the embodiment of the composition. Within the confines of the studio, he assumed the roles of producer, vocalist, and instrumentalist, mastering each musical facet from scratch. However, the journey was far from effortless. Unbeknownst to many, Michael lacked formal musical training and had to acquire proficiency on each instrument employed in the song. And then matters took an even more ominous turn. Despite George Michael's sole authorship and performance of Last Christmas, he found himself entangled in a plagiarism lawsuit. Allegations were hurled by the creators of Can't Smile Without You, contending that Michael had purloined their melodic essence. Justice prevailed when a musicologist attested to the prevalence of similar chord progressions across multiple musical compositions. When Michael severed ties with his Wham counterpart Ridgely, skepticism shrouded his prospects as a solo artist. Undeterred, Michael silenced his critics with the resounding success of his inaugural solo venture, Faith. The 22-year-old sensation garnered 5 chart-topping singles from the album. Yet controversy eclipsed Michael as the album gained traction. The release of I Want Your Sex from Faith thrust Michael into a maelstrom of scandal. The song's explicit nature caught many off guard, resulting in bans from numerous radio stations in both the UK and the US. While this ostensibly hindered mainstream exposure, it paradoxically fueled album sales. MTV, opting for discretion, confined the song's video to late-night airings. I Want Your Sex courted controversy for another reason. The video prominently featured Michael's real-life paramour, Kathy Jong, who ardently loved Michael, unaware of his concurrent romantic involvement with another man. During this period, Michael, concealing his true sexual orientation, claimed to be bisexual. The entire situation was undeniably convoluted, and that merely scratches the surface. George Michael sincerely believed he was bisexual for an extended duration. Despite developing affection for various women over the years, such as Kathy Jong, it wasn't until he laid eyes on Anselmo Falepa amidst the audience at the Rock in Rio concert in Brazil that he experienced his first genuine romantic entanglement with someone of the same gender. Upon glimpsing Anselmo Falepa, Michael found himself instantly captivated, and it seemed that Falepa reciprocated these warm sentiments. Swiftly, a fervent connection blossomed between the two men, with Falepa assuming the role of Michael's inaugural publicly acknowledged male lover. Regrettably, their union would be short-lived, succumbing to an utterly tragic fate. A mere 6 months into their intertwined journey, the couple received devastating news: Falepa had tested positive for HIV. Michael, already grappling with the emotional toll of witnessing his partner battle a grave illness, faced an additional challenge. His family remained oblivious to his true sexual orientation, adding a layer of isolation to his struggle. Notably, during this period, the world mourned the loss of Freddie Mercury to complications related to AIDS, and when Queen sought someone to step into Mercury's formidable shoes for a tribute concert in 1992, George Michael emerged as the indisputable choice. His rendition of Somebody to Love resonated with unparalleled emotion, etching its place as his most renowned live performance, a narrative shrouded in deeper complexities. George Michael's rendition of Somebody to Love became an indelible chapter in musical history, celebrated for its visceral emotion and potent intensity. While ostensibly a tribute to Freddie Mercury, it held a more intimate significance for Michael, commemorating his beloved partner Anselmo Falepa, then locked in a fierce battle for survival. In the period of the 1990s, George Michael penned one of the most emotionally charged songs, dispelling any lingering doubts about his musical prowess. Unfortunately, the genesis of one of Michael's most revered tracks emanated from a place of profound agony. In 1993, Anselmo succumbed to the ravages of illness, plunging George Michael into a prolonged period of mourning. The poignant composition Jesus to a Child emerged as a testament to this heart-wrenching loss. The saga of Michael's affection for Philippa concluded with a tragic denouement. When Michael initially began exploring his attraction to men during the filming of I Want Your Sex, he inscribed the words "Explore monogamy" on Kathy Jung's body in the music video, urging caution amidst the AIDS crisis. Sadly, this very epidemic would claim the life of Michael's beloved partner. Having basked in the limelight for nearly a decade, George Michael found himself wearied. Adding to his woes was a strained relationship with his record label, Sony. Trapped in a contractual bind and feeling unheard in matters of marketing his music, Michael vented his frustration in 1990 by refusing to appear in Sony's music videos. This act of defiance led to the groundbreaking Freedom video, wherein 90s supermodels took center stage, symbolically setting fire to Michael's iconic leather jacket from the Faith era. The message was clear: Michael resisted being coerced into the conventional pop star mold. While this bold move resonated, it also foreshadowed impending turbulence in his collaboration with Sony. In 1997, tragedy struck as Michael mourned the loss of his mother, Leslie, to cancer. The profound bond they shared made the bereavement all the more poignant. Yet, grief offered little respite. For a year later, Michael's tribulations would be thrust into the public eye worldwide. The year 1998 marked a pivotal juncture in George Michael's life. Although he had come out to those in his inner circle, his sexual orientation remained private. However, a controversial incident unfolded when the police apprehended him for engaging in a lewd act in a public restroom. The arrest not only outed him to the public but also sparked intense scrutiny, leaving Michael entangled in a web of controversy. George Michael found himself ensnared in a sweeping sting operation orchestrated by local law enforcement. Undercover officers infiltrated public restrooms, enticing men into compromising situations. Michael was ensnared in their web, entered a plea of no contest, paid a nominal fine, and fulfilled community service. Yet, his response extended beyond legal compliance. Shortly thereafter, Michael unveiled the video for his single Outside, a brilliant satire of the incident. Dressed as a Village People-inspired officer, he featured men in police garb engaging in intimate acts. The arresting officer attempted a $10 million lawsuit, but the judge swiftly dismissed the case. The video, a testament to Michael's irreverence, remains a captivating watch. However, the allure of Michael's rebellious persona persisted. In 2017, Michael faced a 2-year driving ban for driving under the influence, raising concerns among friends and family. Renowned for his rebellious streak and previous encounters with the law for substance possession, this perilous episode prompted heightened worry. Fans feared that Michael was careening towards an uncontrollable downward spiral. Suddenly, George Michael found himself locked in a life-or-death struggle. Just before a major concert, he experienced chest pains and shortness of breath. Hospitalized, the medical diagnosis revealed a severe bout of pneumonia. At one juncture, his condition deteriorated to the extent that he was rushed to the ICU, slipping into a coma. Miraculously, he pulled through, but the ordeal remained a harrowing brush with mortality. In 2009, George Michael candidly admitted to a staggering habit during an interview, smoking up to 25 spliffs, marijuana cigarettes mixed with tobacco, per day. Even for someone of Michael's stature, this constituted an extensive indulgence. However, in the same interview, Michael claimed to have reduced his consumption to a mere 7 or 8 per day. Navigating a relationship with George Michael demanded a willingness to compromise. His former partner, Kenny Goss, shared an understanding of an open dynamic. Michael openly acknowledged that both he and Goss explored relationships with other men, an unconventional facet of their union. The pinnacle of the 2010 Gay Pride Parade marked a precipitous descent for Michael. Driving under the influence of substances, he crashed his car into a shop, leading to legal consequences. Subsequently, he faced incarceration and a 5-year driving ban. Concerns regarding Michael's mental state burgeoned among fans, amplifying worries about the music icon. Beyond the fan base, even fellow luminaries expressed apprehension about Michael's conduct. Longtime friend and music icon Elton John, who had shared a cherished duet of "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me," witnessed their bond unravel due to Michael's substance abuse. Despite repeated attempts at intervention, Michael resisted every effort, leaving a strained friendship in its wake. In 2011, George Michael underwent a tracheotomy, and during this medical procedure, he lapsed into a coma. Upon awakening, an unsettling change manifested itself in his speech. Michael found himself grappling with foreign accent syndrome, a speech disorder arising from brain trauma that alters one's manner of speaking. Celebrity life often involves dealing with stalkers, a reality George Michael knew all too well. According to Michael, authorities often took minimal action, recounting an instance where a persistent woman stalked him, breaching into his residence a staggering 7 times. On one fateful day, Michael encountered her casually strolling down his street, adorned in his clothing. Given George Michael's status, tabloids maintained an exceptionally close vigilance on his life. In a bid to capture the perceived eccentricities of his existence, one tabloid hired 2 paparazzi to station themselves outside his residence, ready to document the unfolding events. Little did they know, their stint would be short-lived. George Michael once styled the producers of the popular quiz show Deal or No Deal with a poignant request. Witnessing a contestant on the show aiming to fund her IVF treatment, Michael stepped in, personally contributing funds to facilitate her quest. The heartfelt intervention resulted in her welcoming a daughter in 2012. Devoting considerable time to volunteer work at a local homeless shelter, George Michael eschewed the typical photo op celebrity engagement. He made a deliberate request for his presence to remain discreet, underscoring his genuine commitment to philanthropy without courting unnecessary attention. Aware of the financial struggles faced by many working individuals, including barmaids striving to cover their bills or fund education, Michael displayed a unique generosity. Drawing inspiration from the nurse students who had cared for his ailing mother, he once tipped a barmaid £5,000 to assist in her pursuit of nursing school. The renowned UK morning show This Morning held a special place in George Michael's heart. A dedicated viewer, he occasionally extended covert assistance to guests who shared their health challenges on the show. On multiple occasions, he phoned in donations to support individuals in need. At the age of 53, George Michael passed away, surrounded by his partner Fadi Fawaz at home. In the aftermath of his sudden demise, speculation arose regarding a potential drug-related relapse. However, the truth revealed a different narrative. Michael succumbed to heart and liver issues. The revelation added another layer to the multifaceted life of the beloved singer. George Michael's holiday songs, notably Last Christmas and Do They Know It's Christmas, contributed to his enduring popularity. Therefore, it held profound significance that the singer's last day on Earth occurred on Christmas Day in 2016. As tributes poured in, the world learned of the impending dramatic funeral arrangements undertaken by Michael's grieving family. While George Michael cherished his hairdresser-photographer boyfriend, Fadi Fawaz, the sentiment was far from unanimous within the Michael family. They harbored a deep aversion towards Fawaz, and in the 3 months between George Michael's passing and his funeral, speculations abounded that Fawaz might be barred from attending. A relative's ominous remark encapsulated the sentiment, stating, "Heaven help him if he turns up." The tension hung thick in the air. Ultimately, Fawaz did attend the funeral, but found himself excluded from the subsequent wake. In a curious twist, Kenny Goss, George Michael's former partner of 13 years, received an invitation to both events. The familial dynamics painted a tableau of intrigue and subtle drama. Unbeknownst to the public, George Michael bequeathed millions of his fortune to various charities, with a special place in his heart reserved for Childline. This UK service provides counseling to young individuals grappling with traumatic issues. Notably, Michael directed the royalties earned from his poignant single, Jesus to a Child, towards supporting this noble cause. In 2013, George Michael faced a hair-raising episode when he purportedly tumbled out of his car during rush hour on the highway. A vigilant woman driving behind him swiftly intervened, shielding him from oncoming traffic. A helicopter airlifted him to the hospital, where he emerged with minor injuries. While Michael attributed the incident to a freak accident, the full truth remains shrouded in mystery. The revelation of George Michael's will unfolded after 3 arduous years of legal wrangling. The contents shed light on the underlying disputes. They will allocate funds to Michael's immediate family and several friends from the 1980s. Yet, it contained significant omissions, notably snubbing Michael's former Wham partner, Andrew Ridgeley. The reasons behind this exclusion remain elusive, adding an enigmatic layer to the aftermath of the celebrated artist's passing.